covered the first Dubai World Cup.
And you even gave it a good race call, from what I remember. One of the best race calls I've ever heard.
Yeah, I won't repeat my call. So my call consisted of 2 words, but that was quite an experience. Going to Dubai. Believe me, Dubai then is not like Dubai now. They were starting to build skyscrapers, but nothing like it was. First of all, people forget that the original racetrack, Nat Al Sheba, was a dump. It was just basically concrete with concrete steps. There were no seats. It was not much of a racetrack at all.
Wasn't the best thing that they had before the Dubai World Cup the Jockeys Challenge?
That's all they had. Yeah, they had the Jockeys Challenge. But people don't realize that there was always rumors going on about Cigar. That it wasn't quite right. He was having problems with his foot, and he would come out. We'd see him, and and I would talk to Bill, and everything seemed fine. And then we were sitting. The press section there was a tent. They had a tent set up next to the grandstand, and I remember sitting in there, and the word came in. They said that, well, I hear that Cigar's going to be scratched. I said, don't tell me that. I didn't come halfway across the world to see this race and have Cigar scratched. That's like the biggest waste of time.
If Cigar did not run in the Dubai World Cup, who are people going to make the favorite? Who was going to be the substitute favorite, since it was all about Cigar? Were they going to lean towards Soul the Matter, or was there some foreign horse that people thought would take the leading role?
The hot horse, the horse that they thought, the only non-American horse they thought had a shot to beat Cigar, was a Godolphin horse that they were very high on, called Howling, Halling. And he was supposed to be really special. And that was the horse that we were all afraid of, that they thought he was going to be really something. So I can't say he's going to be the favorite because there's no betting. There were no odds in the race. We had another American here, Soul of the Matter, and Le Carrière. So you had those 2 horses in there. But, who really cared? It was all about Cigar. It was Cigar. Nobody even knew if this race was going to make it. Cigar was the big attraction. I kept waiting and waiting. Never heard a thing. Never heard. Finally, the horses start coming out. So I'm looking at my binoculars, and there was Cigar. I said, "Oh, thank God!" I see him walking to the track, and then it looks like he's totally beaten by Soul of the Matter. And he comes again. And when he won, I was watching a race with Ray Pollock, and we're hugging each other and jumping up and down, because we witnessed history. That made the Dubai World Cup. Cigar winning the race, and it was turned out to be great. But I did all the visited. I bought all kinds of gold stuff, from the gold souks for my wife and my daughter, and all kinds of souvenirs from Dubai, and so it was an interesting trip. One of the highlights of that trip was afterwards. I told you that, my growing up, one of my sports heroes was Sam Huff.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Huff, as it turns out, was a big racing fan, and he was in West Virginia, and he had a radio show. And he did a radio show from West Virginia, and I get a call. He said, Sam Huff wants me to come on his show to talk about the first Dubai World Cup.
That's cool.
So I've had the distinction of being interviewed, not interviewing, but being interviewed by Sam Huff and Pete Rose.
Wow.
Holy cow.
Yeah. Pete Rose was doing a radio show down by the river, by the big riverboat there in Louisville before the Derby. And they asked me to come to be a guest, and I sat down there, and I was on the show with Pete Rose. We're talking Derby.